Welcome to Superhero Showdown, Season 1, Episode 2. This is my Comic-Con wrap-up. Last weekend was Comic-Con, and some of the things that took place were, you had footage for Thor Ragnarok popped out of it, which I will say the Thor Ragnarok trailer was really exquisite, really good. I like the, you kind of got the Ragnarok storyline and Planet Hulk, while also in there you got the reference to Beta Ray Bill. And I'm just crossing my fingers that he's in the movie. Maybe, just maybe he'll be in there. Thor is a character I really, really like. And I know people don't like Thor the Dark World, but I do. I like all the Thor movies. I like the mythology. I like Asgard. And I can see Loki's in there. Thor. You have Hulk. It's going to be this big battle against Hela, which is going to be really awesome. You got the Game Master is connected to the Collector. So that was really cool. There's Aquaman got shown. I wasn't there for Comic-Con, so I don't know exactly what was shown. The Aquaman movie does interest me a little bit. They also announced that the Captain Marvel movie will actually be set in the 90s, and Nick Fury is going to have both of his eyes. But the thing that really interests me is the Skrulls. I don't know a lot about the Karen Danvers version of Captain Marvel. I know more about the male Captain Marvel that was around in the Golden Age, and I really am hoping this is a good film. Aside from that, you also got the news that where was I gonna go? Alright, let's shift to some DC stuff. I'm gonna go over this in detail. Well, first off, there was rumors going around that Ben Affleck wasn't gonna play Batman again. He was done with the role. It was the Hollywood Reporter that reported all this. And Ben Affleck came out on stage and debunked all those rumors. Some people don't believe him, but I do. Would a man that is so obsessed with Batman want to step away from one of the most iconic roles? But then there's a lot that's going around, like the Justice League movie. Now, one thing about the Justice League movie that I think everybody should know is Zack Snyder deleted all concept art images he had on his Twitter. Everything related to Justice League got deleted from his Twitter, and he really has removed himself. And people are thinking, is he just going to get a producer's credit? Now, one of the reasons that I would say this is because they went through and they were filming since last year. Zack Snyder was filming all this shit for Justice League. But Joss Whedon came in, and apparently Joss Whedon was actually doing script rewrites because Zack Snyder was not really, the script wasn't up to par in their eyes, and then they went from there to actually film. And for 3 more months of filming, most people film a movie within 3 months. So how much of the film was reshot is what we're thinking. Is the Justice League idea that Zack Snyder originally had still there? I'm saying no. And I'm saying thank God for this, because here it is. Zack Snyder, I loved Dawn of the Dead that he did. Sucker Punch I was a fan of. The Watchmen. But Man of Steel was so bad. I know people defend Man of Steel left and right, but that movie was a bad fucking Superman movie. It was a bad fucking superhero movie. And then you have Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, which was a horrible fucking abomination. They butchered out his Doomsday. The wrong person got cast to be Lex Luthor. The Batman Superman, they didn't fight that much. Wonder Woman was thrown in there, and she didn't really, to me, put anything in the fucking story. But now we see that. You look at Joss Whedon, Avengers Age of Ultron, Firefly, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, all these things. He was a co-writer for Cabin in the Woods, which is one of my favorite horror films in the last 15 years. It's in the top 10. And I love that he's in there because it could really be well. And I'm hoping Justice League is a great film. And part of it that people really have been talking about is the title for the new Flash movie, Flashpoint. Normally when Flashpoint takes place in the comics, it's altering the whole universe. People are like, oh, that's how they get a new Batman in. There's been rumors that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to play an alternate Batman. There's just a lot of stuff that's coming through, and then you have the news that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has backed out of the Shazam project, which he was attached to for 4 years, and he left the project. You have that. You have the fact that Cyborg movie hasn't even moved a fucking inch. The Batman, they finally announced today that a trilogy is happening, and that Deathstroke is still going to be in the movie. But Deathstroke may be in the movie, but they didn't say anything about Joe Manganiello, whether or not he's going to still play that character. You have that. You have the Suicide Squad director for the second movie leaving the project. There's a Joker and Harley Quinn movie that got put on the show, that got put on stage that they're going to do. So they keep upping the list of how many DC movies they're going to do, but the problem is you have all these movies. Have any of us heard anything about the Green Lantern Corps movie, Birds of Prey, Batgirl, the Nightwing movie, Teen Titans movie, the Flashpoint movie? We haven't heard anything about Man of Steel 2, which they announced a while back. Not much about the Batman trilogy. Not much about Wonder Woman 2, which was announced. There's a lot that they've announced, but they haven't even done. What I would do is, instead of fucking announcing movies, I would focus on 3 projects at once. Like Justice League is in the can, so what they should do is focus on next, which Aquaman is in the can too. So what I would do is I would focus on the Flash movie, a Green Lantern Corps, and Teen Titans. What I would do is not do a Cyborg movie. I would do a Teen Titans movie, because that way you could have Robin, the Tim Drake Robin. You could have Raven, Beast Boy, Starfire, Cyborg, all together in a movie, do more of an adult Teen Titans. But you should really focus on the one thing that everybody's been asking. Because every time people announce things, and even when they announce Justice League, and in the trailer, there is a reference to the Lantern Corps. Everybody says, we want the Lantern Corps. We want the Lantern Corps. And do you give the Green Lantern Corps? No. Do you acknowledge its existence? Yes. But have you said anything about whether you're going to do Kyle Rayner, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, Kilowog, whatever? You have not even acknowledged that. And the Green Lantern Corps could be the Guardians of the Galaxy or DC. But they haven't even done that. So before this is all about DC, let's move on. What was also announced is something fucking dumb and fucking stupid. A Spawn movie. Now, it's not dumb and stupid because it's a Spawn movie, but the premise, let me first take you back. When I was 13 years old, I went to a comic book store, and this was like right before the movie came out, and I'm like, hey, I want to know what Spawn is. I bought a comic book. I bought Spawn number 1 through 10, and I read them, and they were fucking amazing. The art style, the demons, the violence, everything merged into one was great. And what's their concept for a new Spawn movie? For those of you that hate the Spawn movie, I actually liked the Spawn movie. I thought it was a good movie. really absorbed very well, but they decided that the main character shouldn't be Spawn, it should be Twitch, the detective, talking about all these things and have it's going to be done by Blumhouse and have a more horror aspect. So you're going to do a horror aspect, but you're not going to really focus on Spawn. You're going to focus on like reports of Spawn. So you're kind of going to make Spawn almost a villain, but in the comics you have so many villains you could fucking choose from, and the art style, Todd McFarlane's going to write, produce, and direct this. Okay, you're doing all this, but you're just acknowledging Spawn. What kind of fucking bullshit. I even re-went through, took my VHSs of Spawn, the series, because I have the whole set on VHS. Rewatched it. That is so iconic, so great. Keith David's voice acting of Spawn is amazing, and it really goes into how the comics were. But do we get a Spawn like that? No, I vaguely wanted to touch on that because I just think it's fucking atrocious. So there's been a wave of like people trying to bring more comics out, which I think is a great thing, because Marvel's got into it, DC's got into it. There's other companies that are starting to come out, like there's hush rumors about more Judge Dredd, more comics from that 2000 AD series. There was also the announcement of a Fantastic Four spin-off. We know they're going to do like Fantastic Four Babies or something, and they're doing a Doctor Doom movie, which could actually be interesting. I'm actually interested in that. I put that on the same wavelength as Carnage and Venom. I hope they do the original Doctor Doom storyline, because there's several villains that could have their own movies just based on what kind of tortured characters they are. It doesn't always have to be happy shit. It doesn't always have to be. But Valiant Comics is... some of the people for certain key roles in Valiant, Dave Bautista's been picked. Well, he's in talks. They're in talks with Jared Leto to play Bloodshot, which should be pretty cool. I'm actually a Jared Leto fan. I actually liked his version of the Joker. I love Valiant. I would love for Dark Horse to get into this, because Dark Horse also has some really good comics. I know the Crow adaptation's been in development for fucking ever. But one thing I would really love for them to do, comic book related, is what people don't know is Marvel has this whole set of monsters. What kind of monsters I'm talking about? Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, supernatural characters like that, Van Helsing. They all have a Marvel line in the comics that they've had since the 70s, where they've been doing this, whether it's Tomb of Dracula or Frankenstein or Van Helsing. I think if they started to integrate some of those characters into either the Marvel Cinematic Universe or do a Netflix series, I think that would be really cool for them to do that. I started thinking about characters I would like to see in film that I haven't. Kraven the Hunter would be one. I would actually like to see Savage Dragon or the Wildcats. The Wildcats would be another one. So would Supreme. Supreme's a really cool character. Really violent, though. Really violent. Clive Barker's Tortured Souls would be a really cool film that they could do. It'd have to be more horror aspect. X Factor would be really cool to have. A Silver Surfer movie, like a real Silver Surfer movie, not the one that we got before. I would really like those. We got a lot of good superhero news lately, but what I would like is for things to be finalized. Like, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. I'm still waiting for the Avengers Infinity War trailer. I've also heard rumors that Blade is going to be in Spider-Man Homecoming 2. So there's a lot of different ways things could go. But as always, this is your weekly superhero news. This is Season 2, Episode 2. And I will see you next week for Episode 3 of Superhero Showdown.